We now have a leader in the White House who has a wife, two little girls, clearly a strong family model.
Yes.
And one of the big things in the African American community is always the family structure.
Yes.
Do you see people looking up to President Obama and Michelle Obama as leaders in families, as opposed to maybe some people who are leaders in music and connotate a bad image for the family or the black family?
Yes, and we hope that happens. They are the model family, with the husband, the wife, the two kids, the extended family, the older grandmother who's helping out. That's what keeps the family together. It develops a strong society, makes a better nation. So I'm hoping that a lot of the younger generation, people younger than us, will realize this is how you raise your family. You know, you have to have a strong parents. You have to have, sometimes parents have to sacrifice. They have to switch roles. Like Michelle worked while Barack, contemplating on running for the president. So you have to allow for those type of dreams, to take hold in the family so that it can better the society. I mean, look at your family, like you, Nancy and Jacqueline. I mean, people need to see those model families in leadership. And you do it very well here in the city of Elizabeth, and so it works.
Well, so do you. You and your husband Clairvaux and the two
I
boys,
try, yeah, my three
Tyrell and
boys, yes.
Clairvaux. Your three boys at
Yes.
home, as you always refer to them.
Yes.
Black History Month programs throughout our city. Maybe you can talk with us and share some of the other events that are going on throughout the city.
Well, you stated the African American
Flag
Collective
raising.
on the first, the flag raising on the second, along with the African American Proclamation signing program on the second. Then there's the NCNW, National Council of Negro Women. They're having their Harambe breakfast on February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. And then you have the Urban League Guild, run by Mrs. Ella Teal. She's having a number of events at the library, which we have participated in, starting February 7th, I believe, and it's every Saturday. So it's a lot of events going on. United Youth of New Jersey, run by Charlotte and Kenny Brown. They usually host a couple of events. It's a lot of things going on.
These events are extremely important for the city, and before you were on the city council, a lot of these events didn't even take place.
No,
It's been a coalition of not only your efforts but other groups. Maybe you can talk about some of the other groups that have sponsored the events. You mentioned the Urban League Guild and Rod Spearman's group. They seem to pick up the ball after you started.
Yes. NAACP have began to pick up the ball. We have the NAACP youth chapter who are looking to do things. They called me just 2 weeks ago and said, okay, get involved. It's better when you have a lot of different groups doing their own thing. People Organization for Progress, that's run by James Carey down in the Elizabeth Port area. They usually get involved and do events. There's going to be a lot of events. And, to our credit, to your credit, the cultural division that we opened up in the city of Elizabeth has allowed for a lot of groups to really take hold on some of these cultural events. It's important.
And Councilwoman, following up Black History Month and all through the month and the celebration, one of the things we always encourage, I got like a little note from 3 kids the other day, or it's 8 kids, wanted to know how come, part of their history wasn't in history books. And it was great to see 5th graders write that story.
Yes.
Maybe some, because I never got to study that. It would be great to see things like the Voting Rights Act, the Civil Rights Act, and all of that political intricacies that occurred in the 60s in history books.
It would be. I'm hopefully, but it's up to the historians and the educators to understand how important it is to teach the entire history of America. It's a vast and wonderful history. It goes up and down. It has dark days, and then there's bright sunshines like we had on January 20th. It's up to the historians and the educators to really hone in on those ideas and say, look, we need to pin these down for for prosperity. And until then, it's people like you and I, who feel that it is important, who will continue to do our little part. And mostly parents. Parents need to really engage their children in history.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, really.
Councilwoman, I want to thank you for being on the show and talking about Black History Month, and I'll see you at many of those events during the month of February, and look forward to you at the flag raising and the proclamation as well.
Okay. Thank you for having me.
For Kenesha Baisden, Diane Rehill, and Council President Patricia Perkins Auguste, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.